Hello, dear friends and family in Carmel. Episode 6 of KarmelTalk will be on Mary, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. Many, if not most, Marian devotees consider Our Lady of the Brown Scapular and Our Lady of Mount Carmel to be one and the same. The answer to that impression is a yes and a no. Yes, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular is one of the venerated titles of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Carmelite order. At the same time, it is a no, because there are many other implications and meanings to the title of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, aside from that of the Brown Scapular. Now, you may have noticed during the past episodes that the Carmelites honor the Virgin Mary, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, under different titles like Our Lady of the Place, Patroness of the Order, Mother of Carmel, Our Sister in the Order, Most Pure Virgin, Virgin of Carmel, and Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. But these are not just titles or devotional themes. In fact, the many titles of the Virgin Mary venerated by the Carmelite order actually embodied their experience of the Virgin's presence in their life as a religious order. Nevertheless, it is this Marian title, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular, which has become one to be of the most popular devotions in the entire church, not just in the Carmelite order. Today, the Marian titles, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular and Our Lady of Mount Carmel, are widely considered to be one and the same. Present-day Carmelite scholars consider the title of Mary, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular, as a synthesis of the many titles that are associated or identified with Mary, Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Now, this brings the question, how did the devotion to the title Virgin Mary, Our Lady of the Brown Scapular begin? You see, it was only towards the end of the 14th century when the commemoration in honor of the Virgin Mary under the title Our Lady of Mount Carmel was instituted. In other words, it was only after about 200 years after they existed when the Carmelites honored the Virgin Mary under the specific title Our Lady of Mount Carmel. Yes, the Carmelite order was a Marian order. The Carmelites always identified themselves with the Virgin Mary. They had great devotion to her, but it was only towards the end of the 14th century that they began to honor her under the title Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The reason for the commemoration was prompted by what the Carmelites considered to be a significant grace that they received through the intercession and the intervention of the Virgin Mary. The first, it was their victory at a debate in Cambridge. The Carmelites were able to successfully defend their name and their title, Brothers of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The second was the positive decision of the Council of Lyon regarding the status of the Carmelite order. The Council of Lyon decided not to suppress the Carmelites as a religious order, and therefore, as an act of thanksgiving to the Virgin Mary, the Carmelites chose July 17 to be marked as a day of thanksgiving. After all, this was the date the Council issued its decree that proved of the Carmelites' continued existence. Necessary adjustments, however, had to be made. At that time, a big celebration was held on July 17 in honor of Saint Alexis. It was then decided that the commemoration in honor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel was to be anticipated a day earlier, July 16. From then on, until today, the celebration of the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel is every July 16. Some questions, however, still need to be addressed. When did the devotion to Our Lady of the Brown Scapular begin, and how did it develop? Carmelite historians tell us that it was only during the 16th century when the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel began to be associated with the brown scapular. 100 years later, by the 17th century, the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel became popularly known as the Feast of Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. Today, the title of Mary, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, is understood to be one and the same with that of Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. The celebration in honor of Our Lady of the Brown Scapular is based on a reported vision of Simon Stock in the mid-12th century. Venerable tradition holds that the Virgin Mary gave a scapular to Saint Simon Stock with the accompanying promise that whoever dies wearing this scapular will not suffer eternal fire. For a long time, this reported incident was the subject of much historical dispute and theological controversy. This resulted to a lack of enthusiasm in the propagation of the devotion and the spirituality of the Brown Scapular. Happily, in the recent years, there seems to be a growing interest as regards the story of the scapular vision. There is no doubt the advanced instruments that are being used in the science of history will certainly bring out a better understanding and a deeper appreciation of the scapular story in the field of Mariology. Its historicity notwithstanding, the Church has affirmed, approved, and recommended to the faithful the devotion to the brown scapular of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, also known as Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. Number 25 or number 205 of the Directory for Popular Piety and the Liturgy declares that the brown scapular is undoubtedly one of those pious practices which the Council described as recommended by the magisterium throughout the centuries. The scapular, they say, is an external sign of the filial relationship established between the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother and Queen of Mount Carmel, and the faithful who entrust themselves totally to her protection, who have recourse to her maternal intercession, who are mindful of the primacy of the spiritual life and the need for prayer. Now, how are we to understand this long catechetical statement? My dear friends, in the tradition of the Carmelites, Mary is mother, patroness, and sister. But not only that, in Carmel, Mary is also identified with the scapular. The scapular is Mary. And because the scapular is Mary, to wear the brown scapular is to be assured of Mary's motherly protection. To wear the brown scapular is to be guaranteed of Mary's care and protection. That, after all, is the meaning of patronage. Moreover, to wear the brown scapular is to be confident of Mary's presence and company in facing the struggles and challenges of life. After all, she is a sister who walks with us in the journey of life. There is one thing more, and it is a lesson which we can draw from the story of the scapular vision. To wear the brown scapular is to be assured of Mary's protection, provision, and presence, not only in this earthly life, but even beyond. These are the implications when we say that in Carmel, the scapular is Mary. From our end, we pledge our love and devotion to Mary, and therefore, to wear the brown scapular is to be committed to live our lives in imitation of the Virgin Mary. To wear the brown scapular is to make the virtues of the Virgin Mary our own. A joint letter of the Superiors General of the two branches of the Carmelite Order on the occasion of the 750th anniversary of the brown scapular puts it well when they said, devotion towards Our Lady, the brown scapular that is, cannot be limited to the occasional prayer in her honor, but must become a habit that is a permanent way of Christian living, made up of prayer and the interior life, frequent recourse to the sacraments, and the concrete exercises of the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. My friends in Carmel, the scapular is Mary. To wear the brown scapular is to be assured of the privileges that the Virgin Mother will give to her children. The scapular is Mary. To wear the brown scapular is also at the same time to be resolved to live like Mary, whose life was spent in prayerful and meaningful service to God's people. Join me now as we say a prayer in honor of Our Lady of the Brown Scapular. Flower of Carmel, blossoming vine, splendor of heaven, Mother divine, none like to thee. Mother of meekness, fearless thou art, to Carmel's children favors impart. Star of the sea, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, pray for us.